Hey Astroneers, Games for Life here, and in today's video we're gonna talk about the only 10 items you need to start a base in Astroneer. That's right, you only need these 10 items to start a base in Astroneer. So stop worrying about all of those items that you don't really need at the start of your base. Without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Number 1. Oxygenator. Of course, you land in Astroneer and the first thing you need is oxygen. So you will need an oxygenator. The same way, when you establish a new base on another planet, you'll have to bring an oxygenator with you in order to get the oxygen you need. This basically keeps you alive, so no base is complete without an oxygenator. On top of that, something people don't think of as much is it enables the use of tethers, right? So tethers would not work without an oxygenator, and especially at the start of the game, you use tethers a lot. And all of that is because of the oxygenator, so this is extremely important for a base. And once you get more advanced in the game, you'll have a portable oxygenator that sits in your backpack, so you'll have oxygen all the time. Number 2. Soil Centrifuge. The Soil Centrifuge saves you a bunch of time and allows you to get resources in bulk. So of course you'll need a Soil Centrifuge in your base. Just imagine this, you're in the middle of crafting all the materials you need for the new section of your base, and suddenly you're missing 2 compound. You would have to stop what you're doing and spend the next 5 to 10 minutes searching for a compound deposit, getting 2 compound and then returning to your base. But with the Soil Centrifuge, this whole process only takes 1 minute, and you can work on a different part of your base in the meantime. If you don't know, I actually have an entire video dedicated to the Soil Centrifuge, so if you want to learn more about it, you can find the link in the description below. Number 3. Smelting Furnace. This goes without saying, you need a smelter in your base. A bunch of Astroneer's resources are only helpful to you after they've been smelted. Take iron for example. You have no use for hematite. You cannot use it in anything, so you'll have to smelt it. Or tungsten. The same goes for aluminum and copper, or even titanium or zinc. So if you want to keep building better stuff in Astroneer, you will need a smelter. Now again, once you get more advanced at the game, you can have a portable smelter that's much more efficient because it takes less space but works at the same speed as a full-sized smelter. But that will come down the line. You don't have to worry about that at the beginning, just get a smelting furnace. Number 4. Small solar panels and small wind turbines. You surely know this, apart from oxygen, you'll need power. And in order to generate power, you can use solar, wind, generators or nuclear, that's RTGs. So these are the 4 ways of generating power in Astroneer. And now you're starting a base, so what you really need is just small solar panels and small wind turbines. Now I have a whole video where I talk about how medium items are not as good as the small ones, especially for a beginner player. So if you want to watch that video next, it should already be on screen. Number 5. Batteries. Getting power is one thing, but you'll have to store it as well. This will help you when your power generating items stop working, and that's where the batteries come in. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is more infuriating than when your printer is almost done with an item, only for it to suddenly stop because the sun isn't up anymore or because the wind stopped blowing. That's why small or medium batteries are a must for every Astroneer base, so you'd better get them sooner rather than later. Number 6. Printers. Obviously this goes without saying, printers are a must in Astroneer, they are essential to the game. Just imagine how the game would look like without printers. It would be impossible to progress and you would just be running around a desolate planet with nothing to do or craft. So the small, medium and large printers all serve their own purpose in the world of Astroneer, and they should all have a place in your base. Number 7. Chemistry lab. Okay, this is a bit more advanced, but you'll need a chemistry lab in order to craft all the materials you need to keep progressing in the game. And then you will be using it for resource automation once you get further into the game. While the chemistry lab isn't the first thing you should worry about when starting a base in Astroneer, it should definitely be on your list of items to keep an eye out for. So don't forget about it. Number 8. Shredder. Once you start trading, you'll realize just how important scrap really is. Scrap can be used to get almost all resources in Astroneer, but there is only one way to get scrap. You need to shred items, and for that you'll obviously need a shredder. So you can start with a small one and then work your way up to the massive extra large shredder. Number 9. Platforms. I mean, of course, platforms. Why is this even on the list? What happened? It's just platforms. You probably know your modules won't work unless you place them on platforms and provide power through those platforms. I'm sure you know this, but I just had to include this in here as well. So let's get on to the final and most interesting thing. Number 10. Byte Farm. Okay, I admit I'm cheating here a bit because a Byte Farm isn't really a single item. But hey, it's my list, so I can throw the Byte Farm on it. Now for real, having a Byte Farm as early as possible will save you tons of time and will allow you to enjoy other aspects of the game much sooner. Most people get bored of Astroneer in the early stages where they constantly have to gather bytes. For real, that's a problem for a bunch of people. Even if you might not believe that, there's a subset of Astroneer players who just don't keep playing the game because of the byte gathering aspect of it. So for all Astroneer players, but specifically for those people, you can get around that whole part entirely with a byte farm, and you can keep enjoying the game. Right, you'll still need to gather bytes right in the beginning, but as soon as you can build like the smallest byte farm possible, do it, and you'll enjoy the game much better. You might be curious about how to build a byte farm and what exactly it is. Well, I have multiple videos with different byte farms, but then I have a separate video where I showcase 3 different byte farms. A simple one, a medium one, and a complex one. So you can go watch that video and you'll see exactly which one fits you best, depending on where you're at in the game. So if you're an Astroneer beginner and struggling with the bytes, you can start with a small byte farm. You can build that, you can build multiple of those, and you'll have no trouble with bytes ever again. So if you want to see that video next, you can click on it right here, or you can go watch this other video. And yeah, that's all for today. I've been Games for Life, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, Astroneers!